taste of Torah before we go towards the Shema. And so, as I've been doing of late, is just to bring a verse of Torah for us. And you'll see why we're doing this now. Before I'm going to ask Lenny and her mummy to share something about their experience of being a young person in the synagogue. So this week's parasha is Parashat Vayetze. Parashat Vayetze sees Jacob having tricked his brother Esau out of the birthright, running for his life, because unsurprisingly Esau's pretty angry and says in a fit of anger that he wants to kill him. Jacob runs. Jacob's never really left home. We're told that Jacob's really a homeboy. He stays in the tent. He does a lot of cooking. He stays close to his mum, all of which are very good things. But cheating his brother wasn't so good. But this moment, he has this moment at night, and he has this moment where he discovers a place. And the Hebrew word for place, in case anyone knows it, does anyone know the Hebrew word for place? There's no reason for anyone to know. In Torah, in Bible, is just place. But after the Bible, when the rabbis start responding to the commentary, commenting on Torah, and we see these rabbis talking in Talmud, the word makom also symbolizes God, goodness, sacred. So makom, place, is also the place where you feel at your best, the place where you experience goodness, God, sacred, holiness. So here are 3 verses of Torah. In our Atmos lighting, I probably shouldn't ask you whether you would like to read for me, because probably none of you can see the letters in front of you, whereas we get a little bit of spotlight up here. But I just want to share these 3 verses of Torah with you, and then you'll realize why this is just so perfect for the Shabbat where we're celebrating our congregation. Vayivga b'makom v'yalen sham. So Jacob comes upon a certain place and he lies down there for the night. And what does he do? So I'm just taking little bits of the Hebrew. Vayikach me'avnei hamakom. He takes one of the stones from the place, hamakom. V'yasem me'roshotav v'yeshkav b'makom hahu. And he uses it as a pillow. He lays his head upon the stone right in that place and he goes to sleep. And then vayikatz Yaakov mishnato. He wakes up from his sleep. Vayomer achen yesh Adonai b'makom hazeh va'anochi lo yadati. Surely God was in this place and I did not realize it. And then we're told, Vayira, shaken up and a little stirred up, Jacob says, Ma nora hamakom hazeh. This place is so awesome, so extraordinary. Surely God was here. And again, he refers to the place. So all these repetitions of hamakom, this place, how could I resist that this Shabbat where we're talking about returning to our building, about in this fragile, fractured, febrile world that we live in, what does it mean to be part of a synagogue, to be part of a Jewish community? Why have we poured so much love, energy, money into this building of ours? So in this moment, we are now going to hear just a few words from you, Gosha, and Lenny, you're going to come with your mummy to share what this place has been for you as you've grown up in a place of learning and our Shabbatot, our little ones being able to play in the synagogue. So I'm going to let you lean over to the microphone. Actually, Lenny can hold the microphone for your mummy. Will you hold it for your mummy? So at our 70th anniversary, our 70th anniversary, could it have been our 70th anniversary? I'm now confused. But at our 70th anniversary, Lenny was a tiny baby and Gosha was someone who spoke for the 7 decades, so the most recent decade. And Gosha spoke holding Lenny as a baby in her arms, and now you're
probably breastfeeding at the same time.
Yes, probably. Yes, but right now you're a proper little girl, Lenny, and now you can add to the experience of the synagogue.
When we first joined FPS, it was just the two of us, me and my partner Max. But when Lenny Ella was born, she turned our world upside down, and our synagogue life transformed with it. We've journeyed from late night discussions at Delving to blowing bubbles and singing Bim Bam at the Bima for Shabbatot, from peaceful moments of meditation at services to chasing a toddler with bags full of snacks. We've baked challah at Rabbi Rebecca's, enjoyed ice cream in the garden, and taken part in endless arts and crafts for every single holiday. Watching Lenny Ella growing into her own Jewish identity fills us with joy and pride. Seeing her excited to take out her toy Torah scroll, helping with Kiddush, and most importantly, making friendships that we hope will last for life. We're truly grateful to FPS for the warmth, inclusivity, and education, which is shaping not only Lenny's own journey, but ours as a Jewish family.
Thank you. So lovely.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Gosha. Thank you, Max. Thank you, Lenny. So we now transport ourselves to Shema by offering just that bottom blessing of, as we watch night having fallen, Baruch Atah Adonai Hama'ariv Arabim.
Avat olam beit Yisrael amcha avta Torah u'mitzvot chukim u'mishpatim otanu lemadeta Al ken Adonai Eloheinu b'shochveinu v'kumeinu nasiach bechukecha ונזמח בדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד. כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו ואורך ימינו ובהם נהגה יומם ולילה יומם ולילה.
Baruch Adonai,
Ohev Amo Yisrael.
So stand, sit for the Shema, whatever feels right. So last week, you know, I was in New Jersey, a synagogue just outside New York, and I was very interested to see what everyone did for Shema. They sat. So Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kevod, Shem Kevod, Malchuto, Leolam, Leolam Vaed.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך.
למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לעליכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Let's sit down where we recall the miracle of the of the splitting of the sea and the miracles we see in our own life, as full of joy we sing together.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, נורא תהילות עושה פלא.
ונאמר כי יפדה אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני, גאל ישראל. השכיבנו.
השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום, והעמידנו מלכנו לחיים. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום, והעמידנו מלכנו לחיים.
ברוך אתה אדוני הפורס סוכת שלום עלינו ועל כל יושבי תבל. Let's stand when you're ready for the tefillah, our standing prayer.
אדוני שפתי תפתח ופי יגיד תהילתך. אדוני שפתי תפתח ופי יגיד תהילתך. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו אלוהי אבותינו ואמותינו, אלוהי אברהם אלוהי יצחק אלוהי יעקב, אלוהי שרה אלוהי רבקה אלוהי רחל ואלוהי לאה, האל הגדול הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון גומר חסדים טובים וקונה הכל וזוכר הסתר אבות ואימהות ומביא גאולה לבני בניכם למען שמו באהבה, מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן. ברוך אתה אדוני מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי מתים אתה רב להושיע. משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם, מזריח השמש ומוריד הטל. מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי מתים ברחמים רבים. סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומידו מלך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות מתים. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי המתים.
קדוש אתה ונורא שמך, ואין לנו אלוה מבלעדיך. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש. And so for Shabbat we'll sing Vashamru V'nei Yisrael.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. בינו ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
Baruch atah Adonai Makadesh HaShabbat. We praise you, O God, for the holiness, for the sacredness, for the set apartness of Shabbat. Eternal God, be gracious to your people Israel. In your love, accept their prayers. May our worship now and always be acceptable in your sight. Baruch atah Adonai she'otecha levadecha b'yirah na'avod. So as we offer Modim Anachnu Lach, an opportunity for us to find that true kavanah, spiritual direction of what it means to give thanks and what maybe you feel especially grateful for this week. What has happened for you in your lives that you can find just one moment of appreciation. Perhaps it's not been a good week. Perhaps there's a lot of sadness. Perhaps it's been tricky. Perhaps it's been tiring and challenging. But find one corner, one moment. Maybe it was arriving here. Maybe it was seeing darkness and the week ending. Maybe it's something that you know is about to happen. Just try and find it and face it, invite it as we offer Modim Anachnu Lach together. Modim Anachnu Lach. She'ata hu Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu le'olam va'ed. Tzur hayenu, magen yishenu, ata hu lador vador. Nodeh lecha saper tihilatecha, al hayenu hamsurim biyadecha, v'al nishmotenu hapkudot lach, v'al nisecha shebachol yom imanu, v'al niflotecha v'tovotecha, shebachol eit erev v'voker v'tzohorayim, Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha, u'lacha na'eh lohodot. So let's offer prayer for peace, for ease in our own homes and lives. Just that shalom, that integration of everything, and prayer for peace for everywhere, for that fragile ceasefire. May it turn into something of lasting, safe and just peace.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki ata hu melech Adon lechol hashalom. Ki ata hu melech Adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. V'tov beinecha levarech et amcha Yisrael bechol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam.
Baruch atah Adonai Oseh HaShalom. As we bless and praise the capacity for peace, for ease, for wholeness. And as we go into our silent prayer, meditation, pause in noise for us tonight, just an invitation to think about those words. Achen, yesh Adonai b'makom hazeh v'anochi lo yadati. Where have been moments in your life, your experience, where you have just seen or heard or felt something that felt good, godlike, a spiritual uplift, to allow those words to mean something for you. Yesh Adonai b'makom hazeh v'lo yadati. Or Manora hamakom hazeh, how awesome is this place.
She's left. Do you want mine? Do you want mine? Yiyu leratzon imre fi vegion libi lefanecha Adonai tzuri vegoali Adonai tzuri vegoali uleratzon imre fi vegion libi lefanecha Adonai tzuri vegoali Adonai tzuri vegoali.
Oseh shalom.
Which one was I going to do? Oseh shalom bimromav hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol bnei Adam. Yaseh shalom bimromav hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol bnei Adam. Yaseh shalom bimromav hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru amen.
Yesha koach, beautiful. So this Shabbat, there are different organizations that we are so proud to have in the Jewish community that really raise our consciousness about all sorts of challenges and difficulties within the community. And Jewish Women's Aid was an organization that was created within the Jewish community to mirror, to add to Jewish, to add to Women's Aid, charities that really support women who experience domestic violence of any kind. And so on this Shabbat, we are called, which is in the Shabbat of Parashat Vayetze. Not only has Jacob on the run, experiencing God with ladders and angels, but we also have a tiny section that hints at Dinah, who is the daughter of Jacob, experiencing sexual violence in this portion of Torah. Much has been written about it, but it allows us to really focus on what this charity and organization does that is so needed within the Jewish community to remind us that we are not exempt from these difficulties, from moments of violence and unhappiness and emotional distress. And so Sarah Wendy is going to share with us the piece that Jewish Women's Aid asks us to think about in every congregation, to raise consciousness, to mention it, to allow us to be able to do that. And very soon we will have in our new building information that will be on the back of all our separate loo doors to be able to raise information for everyone in our congregation, as they are asking and hoping will be the case for every congregation across the United Kingdom. Thank you, Sarah Wendy.
This weekend across the country, Jewish communities are marking JWA Shabbat. It is a moment to pause and reflect on something that can be hard to speak about: domestic abuse. Abuse can happen in any family, in any community, even in ours. 1 in 3 women will experience abuse in their lifetime. For most women, it takes them almost 4 years to come forward and ask for help. For Jewish women, we know it can be far longer, sometimes double that. Silence, fear, stigma, and shame allow abuse to thrive. But when we talk about it, when we refuse to look away, we start to break that silence. The theme of this year's JWA Shabbat is Stop the Ripple. We know that domestic abuse ripples far beyond the individual it impacts. We know that each of us can play our part to spot the ripple. Every action we take or don't take sends a ripple through our community. A poster in a shul, a small act of noticing someone, a quiet word of concern, a willingness to listen without judgment. These small acts can make a world of difference to someone living in fear at home. Jewish Women's Aid is there for every Jewish woman who needs help, providing practical and emotional support. They are there to listen without judgment. They also work across our Jewish community, in schools, youth movements, synagogues, and organizations, helping young people and adults to understand what a healthy relationship looks like, to recognize the signs of abuse, and to know where to turn for help. Jewish values teach us, Kol Yisrael Aravim Zeh Lezeh. All Israel is responsible for one another. This means each of us has a part to play in building a community where everyone feels safe, a place where kindness and respect thrive, where we refuse to stay silent when someone is in pain. Abuse grows in silence, but compassion, awareness, and courage can break the cycle. Take a moment to look at the leaflets provided. Oh, are there leaflets provided?
So that's what I nipped out to look. They are out there on our notice board outside.
In that case, take a look at the leaflets provided. And discuss how each character can help support a Jewish woman who is affected by abuse. Together as a community, we can make a difference. We can all do something to help stop the ripple.
Thank you, Sarah Wendy, and thank you, Andrea Collett, who is our link person to JWA. It felt really good to hear it tonight. So we thought, Sarah Wendy and I thought, rather than going to the traditional Aleinu, we would ask you, if you have one of these Sidurim, to turn to page 213, which of course are Judy Chicago's words about how we might collectively make a safer, better, kinder, stronger world. Maybe in this moment of time with the febrile, fractured, fragile world around us, her words somehow feel very prophetic. So we're going to offer those together, standing up, and I am going to suggest so that we hear the words in a more powerful way, that this side of the room read one line, led by Sarah Wendy, and this side of the room will read next line, so that we read to each other. When we finish with the words Eden once again, we will turn to page 521.
And then all that has divided us will merge.
And then compassion will be wedded to power.
And then softness will come to a world that is harsh and unkind.
And then both men and women will be gentle.
And then both women and men will be strong.
And then no person will be subject to another's will.
And then all will be rich and free and varied.
And then the greed of some will give way to the needs of many.
And then all will share equally in the earth's abundance.
And then all will care for the sick and the weak and the old.
And then all will nourish the young.
And then all will cherish life's creatures.
And then all will live in harmony with each other and earth.
And then everywhere will be called Eden once again. 521.
ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו
We turn to page 524 for Kaddish, and we're particularly thinking of those who are marking and remembering a yahrzeit this Shabbat. We think of Margaret Davis, aunt of Eleanor Davis, Sam Lassman, father of Lionel King Lassman, Ian Goodman, father of Karen Goodman, grandfather of Samuel and Toby, Jean Maxwell, mother of Nicholas Maxwell, grandmother of Esther Maxwell, and great-grandmother to Beatrix and Matilda. Lionel Baines, father of Alan Baines and Jacqueline Baines. And my own grandparents, Joseph Green and Toby Green Lawson. Zichronam livracha, may their memories be for a blessing. And may those of us who recall and remember our loved ones be comforted a little in our loss, as we say the words of Kaddish together.
Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah,
B'alma divra kirutei v'yamlik malchutei, b'hayachon v'yom echad, v'b'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, b'agala v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mavorach le'olam olmei amaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitada v'yitale v'yitalal shmei d'kudusha brechu. Leila min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechemata, da'amiram b'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama Rabbah min shamaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'al kol b'nei Adam, v'imru amen. Sit down, and just a couple of announcements. Most important, that before we go to Kiddush that Jane and Beverly have beautifully laid out for us, can we just put the chairs back how we found them tonight, so they're all ready for the service tomorrow. That would really make a difference, I think. And then just tomorrow is a super celebratory service where we all get to welcome all our local dignitaries, our MP, our mayor, otherwise known as Rabbi Danny Ridge, who'll be coming in his robe and chain, and all our local councillors, including Barry Rawlings, leader of the council. It's really a wonderful opportunity for us to feel like we're so much part of the fabric of things here in our local borough of Barnet. Just a couple of dates, hold in your head. Please look out for Hanukkah and notice all our dates for Hanukkah, which will all be in our building, Hanukkah literally means dedication. So our first Hanukkah moment is Wednesday night, the 17th, where we're having an interfaith Hanukkah on the Wednesday evening with lots of local institutions. Friday will be our Shabbat Hanukkah, starting with the tots at 4 o'clock, to be doing all sorts of making and playing, and Ivriya families at 5 o'clock, and then lighting the candles with a lot of dreidel playing and donuts, of course. We might even inject our own donuts. And then for those who'd like to, we're really hoping to restart our Havurah suppers. So Friday night, the 19th, will be a bring and share supper. We really hope that you'll join us, our first one in the small hall. Really looking forward to that. And then just something that I sent in an email today, in case you didn't read, we are looking for anyone who wants to be a volunteer on Christmas Day, that the nurses at North London Hospice need driving to and fro from their homes. So if that is something, if you're going to have a drink later in the day, you can do the early shift, the breakfast shift. If you aren't going to drink, my mother is going to do the late night. Well, it's not late night, 7 in the evening and 8 in the evening, but it really will help the hospice, because otherwise taxis, double rate, uses up so much of their budget. That was the word I was looking for. So just bear it in mind. If that's something you might be interested in, then just liaise with me. We also are restarting our winter night shelter, January and February. Look out for your rota. If you've never been on that rota, let me know and we can add you. We need people who cook, not people who have to be in the building. You don't have to sleep. You can come and move bags. You can make breakfast. You can whatever. It's just for 2 months on Thursday nights in January and February. So right now we are going to finish with a
Can I say something else about the Ivriya? So Ivriya Hanukkah party on the 19th, we're also going to be having a food bank. So do a winter clean out of your pantry. Bring in any dry goods or toiletries, feminine hygiene products, anything that you have that's extra in your home, bring it in. And kids bringing things in from your home, the goods you bring in will be traded for Hanukkah gelt to use to play dreidel. So,
love it. Love it. Thank you, Sarah Wendy. So we're going to finish. Sarah Wendy and I have been on a bit of a roll of finding a song, a Debbie Friedman song, for every parashah, but we also want you to become familiar. So this is from Psalm 126, I think, which is sow in tears and reap in joy. And I think it really talks about resilience. It really feeds into Jewish Women's Aid Shabbat. It talks about recovery, that sometimes in the hardest of places we start to see manora hamakom hazeh, things are better, things are good. So Sarah Wendy's going to remind us of the words, which are mostly in Hebrew with a tiny bit of English for us to do.
Yeah. So the English goes, those who sow in tears will reap in joy, And then it repeats, those who sow in tears will reap in joy. And I think if we sing that a few times and then loop it, if we're feeling confident, I'll sing the Hebrew on top of it.
Just remind us.
So the Hebrew is Hazorim, Bedima, Berina, Yizkoru.
Which literally means sow in sadness and harvest in joy.
Cool. Those who sow in tears will reap in joy, will reap in joy. Those who sow in tears will reap in joy. Let's do that again. Those who sow in tears will reap in joy, will reap in joy. Those who sow in tears will reap in joy. Should we all do the Hebrew? Azorim, Bedima,
who sow in tears will reap in joy, will reap in joy. Those who sow in tears will reap in joy.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
Let's move towards Beverly and Kiddush and just straighten your chairs as you do so.